Guys, we finally figured out the formula for stopping Patrick Mahomes.
I know how to beat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Do you know how to beat him?
Yeah. You got to get pressure with 4.
You get pressure with 4.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist or a barstool talking head to figure out that every quarterback performs worse when under pressure.
What if I just didn't blitz?
And the prevailing sentiment following the Super Bowl is that the key to stopping Mahomes is to not blitz. But the interesting thing is, Mahomes had a better passer rating, completion percentage, yards per attempt, and touchdown to interception ratio when not blitzed compared to when he was blitzed during the regular season. The pass rush absolutely had a huge factor in the game, but the fact is, the Broad Street Bullies' domination of Patrick Mahomes was a full team effort that came down to preparation, recognition, and execution, with the coverage and pass rush having the effect of one hand washing the other. Take the Zach Bond interception for instance. A lot of attention was placed on Mahomes getting hit as he threw, but the coverage forced Mahomes to hold on to the ball, which then allowed the pressure to get home, which forced the errant pass into Zach Bond, who knew exactly where he needed to be in coverage. Let me explain. In the preview episode, we detailed how the Chiefs' passing game has relied overwhelmingly on quick game this season. Within their quick game, we detailed how the Chiefs designed their route concepts to consistently put receiving threats in the same locations on the field. Those locations are primarily the flat, hook curl, and low hole areas on the field. We see the Chiefs getting players into these positions on a variety of different concepts, and it would be up to Fangio to call coverages to put defenders into these throwing windows. Let's look at one of Kansas City's favorite ways to run their quick game. We often see Kansas City get into these 2x2 formations with no tight end or receiver aligned tight to the core of the formation. When you see these 2x2 spread formations from Kansas City, especially when the running back is aligned to the field side, the Chiefs often run different quick game concepts to the 2 receivers on the boundary side. Here we see the Chiefs run a slant flat combination. On this play, we see Kansas City running a smash variation with a hitch from the number 1 and corner from the number 2. Here we see a slot option play from Rashee Rice before his injury. If Travis Kelce is one of the boundary receivers, especially since the Rashee Rice injury, it's an extra alert that it will be some type of quick game to that side. But notice what else the Chiefs consistently do on the backside of these plays. They generally have the slot receiver run some type of route crossing the middle of the field, whether it's a slant, a crossing route, or a sit route over the ball. The reason being is that they want to give Mahomes secondary options to progress to if the quick game is taken away front side. One more thing, the defense has to factor in down and distance and field position as well. In the preview video, we discussed the Chiefs having one of the lowest average depth of throws on first and second down. Their average throw depth is lowest when backed up on their own goal line and between their own 20 and 40-yard line when they are starting their drives. These are key areas to be alert for quick game. So let's go back to the Zach Bond interception. It's first down. There's a minute 49 seconds left in the second quarter and the Chiefs are lined up on their own 6-yard line. The defense has to be thinking quick game. RPOs were a big part of the Chiefs' attack as they led the NFL in pass attempts on RPOs.
Hey, watch RPO! Get down!
But with the Chiefs in a spread formation, the odds they run an RPO is very low. Kansas City starts in a 3-by-1 formation. The Eagles are playing cover 6, likely with their tricks adjustment to the trips formation that they ran a lot during this game, which we'll talk about later. But they motion Xavier Worthy across the formation into a 2-by-2 look with the back to the field side and Travis Kelce on the boundary side. Alarm bells are going off in the defense's head. The motion from 3-by-1 to 2-by-2 takes a tricks adjustment off, and the Eagles are running cover 6, which means quarters to the passing strength and cover 2 to the weak side. With the Eagles running cover 2 to the boundary, they have a hook defender leveraging Travis Kelce inside and Quinyon Mitchell leveraging him outside in the flat. Quinyon jumps the out route from Worthy, which he probably had a strong idea was coming, considering Worthy is much more likely to run an out route in quick game as opposed to a slant, as he has been targeted on 2 slant routes this season compared to 22 out routes. Mahomes doesn't feel comfortable throwing the front side of the combination, and he progresses to the backside, which gives Josh Sweat time to bull rush Joe Thuney into Mahomes. But look at Zach Bond. He knows the down and distance. He knows the formation. He knows how the Chiefs like to attack. So when Mahomes looks to the boundary, Bond doesn't follow Mahomes' eyes. He drops into the throwing window, knowing a crossing route is coming from the backside. With the coverage on the front side forcing Mahomes to hold onto the ball, Sweat is able to knock Mahomes off platform, and he delivers an off-target pass into Bond, sinking into the throwing window. That's team defense. The Eagles got pressure on Mahomes all day, but Mahomes also had his longest time to throw of the season. The Eagles consistently took away Mahomes' first read and forced him to hold on to the ball. We knew this would be a huge part of the game plan coming into the game. So what were some other ways that the Eagles took away Mahomes' first read? Well, it's obvious Travis Kelce is the engine of the Chiefs offense, and the Eagles did several different things to take him away. Coming into the game, 79% of Travis Kelce's targets came between the numbers. So the Eagles ran coverages and used adjustments to pack the middle of the field. Early in the game against an empty formation, with Kelce in the slot, we see the Eagles rush only 3 players and drop an extra pass rusher into coverage to help bracket Kelce on a quick throw. Mahomes can't get the ball out when he wants to, and it allows the coverage to converge on Travis. Here, against the 3-by-1 formation, the Eagles are running quarters with their tricks adjustment against trips, where the safety away from the trip side will match the number 3 receiver on anything vertical, the safety to the trip side matches number 2 on anything vertical, and the corner matches number 1 on anything vertical. The backside corner and linebacker will play man coverage on the receiver and running back respectively. This allows the Eagles to flood the trip side with 5 defenders for 3 receivers. Here, since the number 2 receiver doesn't run vertical, the safety responsible for him will zone off his coverage, and we effectively get Kelce triple covered with Zach Bond sinking underneath Kelce, and Mahomes panics and scrambles into a sack. The Eagles use their tricks check a fair amount against the Chiefs, and we saw Kelce double and triple covered multiple times throughout this game. But running this coverage, especially if you're going to put emphasis on taking away a tight end, puts a lot of pressure on your outside corners to hold up one-on-one, especially the backside corner away from the trip side. But the Eagles used enough changeups to keep the Chiefs guessing. Here we see the Chiefs and trips again, but instead of using a tricks adjustment, the Eagles opt to play with a true split field safety look and run cover 6. We see Quinyon Mitchell appearing to play off like he's going to cover the number 1 receiver man-to-man again, when really he's a flat defender. He's baiting the throw underneath, knowing he has deep safety help over top. Mahomes looks to attack the solo receiver side, but he sees Mitchell ready to jump the route. Pat is forced off his first read, he panics, and he gives the rush time to get home again. We saw a similar changeup later in the game. The Chiefs came out in a 3-by-1 formation again, but this time, receiver Juju Smith-Schuster aligns tight to the line of scrimmage as the number 3 receiver, with Kelce as the number 2 receiver. With how much pressure the Eagles were getting, they wanted to have players help chip the edge rushers. They had Juju chip instead of Kelce, so they could get Travis into a route right away. So the Eagles played cover 6 again, but had Zach Bond match Juju to the flat on the chip and release, and then bracketed Kelce with the nickel and safety to the passing strength. Away from the trip side, we again see the corner able to take away a quick throw to the solo receiver as he plays the flat with the safety playing in the deep half behind him. All year long, Fangio has figured out what teams like to do best and then used his tools to take away their fastball. He pretty much has gambled on the fact that teams can't and oftentimes won't try and beat you with their secondary options. Coming into the game, I expected the Eagles would do everything to take Kelce away, which would put extra pressure on Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell to hold up in coverage with little help. But Fangio showed he was always one step ahead of Andy Reid with some of his coverage changeups. It was a masterful display of game planning and play calling throughout the game. But game planning and play calling doesn't mean anything if your players aren't prepared to recognize formations, tendencies, and plays. But this defense was prepared in this game and all year. One of my favorite examples of this was on Josh Sweat's first sack. And one of the live pods we did before the game, here's what I had to say about Xavier Worthy. There's things you can be aware of and alert for where Worthy is on the field. And you need to be aware of where Worthy is on the field because a lot of the offense runs through Worthy and Travis Kelce. So you have to be aware of where is he lined up, and especially in relation to the running back. If he is on the opposite side of the running back, especially in shotgun, it's probably going to be a jet sweep back across the formation. It could be like a slide route back across the formation behind the line of scrimmage. If he's on the same side as the running back, then a lot of times they're using that flow from the running back working away from Worthy to create space for them to run a screen or a bubble back the other way. So just understanding where he's aligned, where they like to line him up. Worthy often works in the opposite direction of the running back, whether he starts aligned on the same side of the back or on the opposite side. Here we see Worthy aligned tight to the line of scrimmage, opposite of the running back. Worthy is rail thin, so the Chiefs don't ask him to block much, especially inside the box. So when you see Worthy aligned tight to the core of the formation opposite of the back, it should be an alert that he's going on some type of action back across the formation with the running back moving the other way. Here against the Bills, we see the Chiefs use a run fake to the left to get the defense flowing one way before leaking Worthy in the opposite flat. He comes wide open and he races toward the pylon for a touchdown. Notice the defensive end though. He bites on the run fake and gives Mahomes time to throw the ball. Flip to the Super Bowl and we see Worthy aligned tight to the core opposite of the running back. You can see the defense communicating the alignment and they know what's coming. Sweat completely ignores the play fake and immediately charges at Mahomes for the sack. Let's see that Sweat celebration one more time. We saw this type of recognition and communication from the Eagles all game long. Before the game, we looked at one of the Chiefs' staple RPO plays and different ways the Eagles could defend it. Jump to the Super Bowl and we see rookies Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean recognizing and communicating to properly leverage the routes. I especially enjoyed seeing this play since Chiefs fans laughed at me for having the audacity to think the Chiefs would run one of their staple RPOs against the Eagles.
Shut up, bitch!
We saw that recognition and communication happen mid-play on Coop's pick 6. I'm sure LeBron will remember to dap up Cooper next time he sees him. See, the thing is, stopping the great quarterbacks of the league doesn't come down to just getting pressure or just having good coverage. One without the other isn't good enough. If you have bad coverage, you're probably never getting enough pressure as the ball will come out too quick. If you have good coverage but no pressure, someone will eventually come open. Great defenses aren't great because of one aspect. They're great because of their game planning, because of their preparation, because of their recognition, and because of their communication. When you have a defense that is bought in and willing to put in the work, and a defensive mastermind like Vic Fangio, well,